as we speak, the goods might be actually being destroyed if they're not already destroyed. Whistleblower, FBI whistleblower, Garrett O'Boyle, warning of exactly this.
That there are FBI servers that are sort of standalone, and people inside the FBI have been working night and day to destroy files on these servers. And I was told that once these files are destroyed, the way they are set up, that even Elon Musk could not restore them. So that's happening right now as we speak.
So yeah, I'd be going crazy right now if I were Pam. And I would be enlisting all of my colleagues. I would not be doing this out on an island. The answer is you actually need to be a force. And I want to know what's going on in the New York FBI field office that they are not releasing stuff, because they apparently had videotape. They apparently had audio tapes. They apparently had thousands of pages of investigative material. And guess what? We didn't get to see any of it. And that's weird. And then she gives a deadline that came and went today. Pam's like, I need it. I want it on my desk at 8 a.m. It never happened. I have some suspicions on this. I have some reasons why I think this is. But first, let's go to my former colleague over at Fox, Jesse Waters, who, by the way, was probably kind of annoyed because she'd come on his show the night before and goosed everybody up, and we thought there was going to be something big, and then nothing. So he's angry with the field office, understandably. He may not be saying it, but he might be a little angry with her too.
So who's in charge at the New York FBI field office? Who's withholding Epstein docs from the Attorney General? James Dennehy is running the show there. There he is. This is the guy who emailed his whole staff to dig in after Trump took office. And don't forget that James Comey's daughter is an assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York. She worked on the Epstein and Maxwell cases. She's kind of knee-deep in this. Epstein was facing sex trafficking charges in Lower Manhattan. Where's all that paperwork? The FBI seized computers, surveillance videos, banking records, file cabinets, and photographs from all of Epstein's properties in New Mexico, the Virgin Islands, Palm Beach, and in New York. The Justice Department also gave Epstein a sweetheart non-prosecution deal 17 years ago. Where are those files? The Bureau of Prisons. Where are those files? You remember where Epstein killed himself? I asked Bill Barr about that, why everything seemed to go wrong that night.
When I first heard all the information and all the coincidences here, I was suspicious.
What were the coincidences? I mean, those were a lot of coincidences.
Well, one of the cameras was out.
Right.
He was supposed to have a cellmate. The cellmate left. They didn't replace the cellmate. And the guards who were supposed to check him every half hour didn't check him.
My EMT source said he was on the scene immediately to pull Epstein's body out to the morgue. And when he got to the cell, he saw 7 people there touching Epstein's body and moving stuff around.
Wow. That's not good. On top of that, I spoke to my source, who was actually Epstein's doctor, who had spoken to him just a day earlier. He said he seemed in great shape, other than, and not to be indelicate, apparently he was having some constipation issues. More information than you needed to know. I know. But just to kind of put a little detail in there for you. Other than that, he was doing just great. And he thought that he might actually be able to get some other kind of deal. I mean, perhaps his problem was if, in fact, as it is alleged, he had any connections to U.S. intelligence, maybe his problem was that he threatened that he might have the goods, and he thought that was going to actually help him get a better deal, but actually it didn't. It actually may have wound up in something. Now, we don't know that. So I'm going to be clear and clean with you on that one, but I have my suspicions because guess what? I wasn't born yesterday. I spoke with the doctor. He was doing well. His lawyers say he was in good spirits. And yet they moved him to a single cell. And then the 2 guards somehow managed to be asleep. And then the cameras suddenly went out. And then you heard what Jesse said. That adds to the complexity of all of this. With 7 people being found around him after that the EMTs are talking about. I mean, so it goes back to I hate to quote the Daily Beast because, the Daily Beast is just a terrible publication in my estimation. They can take things out of context, but they did say something that I think sort of adds up. When Alex Acosta was getting looked at for Labor Department at the Trump administration, he was asked apparently about that sweetheart deal that Epstein got back in 2008 down in Florida because he had been the U.S. attorney at that point. And the belief was, or the accusation was, as far as the Daily Beast was concerned, their sourcing said that Acosta said that Epstein, quote, belonged to intelligence and should thus be left alone. So that might help explain why he was 12 hours in the prison, 12 hours out, and only had to do 8 months or something for some pretty heinous crimes. And then there's allegations that he somehow was getting paid off by the CIA, by other intelligence networks around the world. And that's kind of scary stuff. I mean, look, it goes back to Ghislaine though, right? Ghislaine Maxwell, whose own dad was reported to be a spy himself. Apparently he put in these software systems, surveillance software systems that were like backdoor entries into other intelligence agencies. So that enabled the Mossad to get extra good information from, say, the CIA or something else. That's what's been reported. And it's also been reported that, the daughter was sort of his favorite kid and she kind of learned the family business, if you would. And she may have learned it so well that, when she got arrested, she kept her mouth shut because she's still alive. She's doing 20 years. She tried to buy a house in New Hampshire. Kid you not. I'm like, what? How? They also said it really was interesting that she didn't try and escape the country because she probably had the resources and the sources in order to do that. But that the thinking was, okay, if she's really in deep and she's such a good source that she's not going to talk, we can just let her do 2 decades. Maybe she gets out for good behavior and then she'll come back to the family business. I don't know. I'll just say this, Jeffrey Epstein, I'm told, I never met him, but I was told by his doctor, actually, he was one of the most charming people you would ever meet. He also clearly, as we know, and it has been proven out, had an extremely, and I'm trying to be cautious with my words here because we like to make sure that, if the kids are ever watching that they can, okay? But let's just say he had very deviant behavior, disgusting deviant behavior. And as a result of that deviant behavior, you kind of look and say, did Ghislaine, did she target him knowing that he might be a good continuation, shall we say, of the family business? And did she then install all this software in his New York townhouse and in the islands? Is that, and then was this so-called compromise that these intelligence agencies were able to buy off of Epstein and Ghislaine? I mean, I don't think it's that wild. A lot of people believe he was an intelligence asset, including his doctor. Steve Frischman, thank you so much. It's good to see you back in the house. Again, appreciate the generosity. It's nice to have so many regulars here. And this is show 2 today, right? We had the first show and now we have the second show because there's that much news to get to. But I do think that all of this is extremely suspicious. And so Pam Bondi needs to be asking the right questions and she needs to work with the team around her to make sure that they're a united front and they're going in. Because I'm telling you, there's some stuff that may have gone down. Comey was worried about this, right? Remember?
When you think about a second Trump administration, what do you think the implications would be for the FBI?
Oh, serious, for the Justice Department and the FBI, because Trump is coming for those institutions. He knows their power, and I think he has regrets that he didn't work hard enough to corrupt them last time. So he's coming for them, and that's a danger for all Americans. He's going to put people in positions in those organizations. He didn't have all-stars the last time. He'll have the bottom of the barrel this time, but people who will want to do his will, and that should worry every American. This election matters. Because of a reason like that, people have to participate. You cannot sit on the sideline. I don't care how you feel about Joe Biden, you must vote for him because the consequences on the other side are too severe.
Well, it looks like people are willing to take that gamble, okay? Tucker Carlson, right before he got canned at Fox, and I say that with affection because we have that in common. It's better over here, trust me. Anyway, Tucker was on his show, and he was pointing out that they had destroyed a lot of the evidence way back when. I mean, the stuff that Pam is asking for, this is the sad part, guys, it may not exist.
It's approaching 4 years since Jeffrey Epstein died in detention in New York City. It's very obvious he was killed. The more you look at the details, and we have, the more clear it is that somebody got inside the most secure federal lockup in our most populated city and murdered Jeffrey Epstein. But who? Well, the Department of Justice is in charge of finding out who, of course, and they say they have had an investigation for almost 4 years. So periodically we reach out to DOJ and ask, how's the Epstein investigation going? We called today again. They told us they'd complete and publish their report soon. We also thought it'd be worth reaching out to the NYPD. We wanted to know what was said in any 911 calls from the federal lockup in New York on the day that Epstein was found dead. NYPD has just turned over one of those calls to us, and it reveals the truth. Here it is.
This is funny. Yeah, clever. In other words, they don't have.
Oh, just kidding. We can't play that 911 call for you because it's been deleted. Really? Just like the videotape. Why? Because we are, quote, well past the 12-month retention period. So it looks like the NYPD deleted the recordings of 911 calls from the jail. So we thought, well, how about the FBI? We called over to the FBI to say,
forget it.
Do you have any 911 recordings from the jail, from the federal lockup? And we got no response. No one seems interested anymore, but we're interested.
Yeah. Okay. So if U.S. intelligence was involved, I think it's going to be really hard to prove this out. And I think that Pam needs to get right out in front of this. And we need to start very much being on offense and not overpromising and under-delivering, okay? In this case, if they're not giving you stuff, you got to go nuclear. I haven't heard from her today. Of course, there's been a lot of stuff going on, shall we say today. A lot of other stuff going on. And we're going to get to Zelensky because he's on Fox and he's refusing to apologize. And Trump is spouting off to reporters. We're going to get to all that. I get it. There's a lot going on. But this is not a good look, all right? It's not a good look. And I know you guys were disappointed yesterday. I was disappointed yesterday. I was disappointed today. And I think we're going to continue to be disappointed.